We have breaking news right now. Donald Trump has officially signed tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. 25% on Canada, 25% on Mexico, 10% on China. There is one exemption. Oil or gas coming from Canada will be at a 10% tariffed rate, not a 25% rate. Costs are about to go up in the United States on a number of goods coming from Canada, Mexico, and China. Here's everything you need to know. Mexico produces a number of produce, fruit, avocado, tomato. Prices are going up. Mexico and Canada also ship in a number of pharmaceuticals. Prescription drug costs will go up. The cost to purchase a car will go up. The cost to purchase electronics will go up. The cost to purchase toys from China will go up. Textiles, clothing will go up. Gas, even if it's a 10% tariff, will go up. It's unclear when they will take effect, possibly Tuesday, possibly later, but he has signed them. I will do a full breakdown on my Substack later this evening. As always, comment below your thoughts, spread the word, follow along for all the news you need to know about, and now we await the response.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
So how much do you guys want to bet that Trump is using the 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico to manufacture a crisis that he will then pretend to solve and claim victory for, even though he actually didn't do anything? Because he's claiming he's doing it because Mexico and Canada are smuggling fentanyl into the United States, but there's no statistics to back that up. And actually the data says it's the exact opposite. Mexico and Canada have both been cooperating with the United States on trying to symbolically crack down on the border and make sure that nothing's happening, but the vast majority of fentanyl suppliers in the United States are US citizens. So he doesn't actually care about the issue, he's just kind of using it as an excuse to implement these tariffs, which is obviously going to cause financial panic in the United States as the cost of a lot of products for consumers are going to go up. Inflation in the US is going to rise drastically. The media is going to try and fact check Trump and say like Canada and Mexico are not suppliers of fentanyl to the US, and tariffs also don't stop the flow of fentanyl. Trump is going to double down and say the fake news is lying. Canada and Mexico have been ripping us off for decades, even though that's not true. After weeks or months of economic turmoil, Trump is going to announce a meeting with Canada and or Mexico to address the fentanyl crisis that they are doing. And even if the meeting results in absolutely nothing, he's just going to lift the tariffs after the fact so that then he can go to the news and be like, I spoke with Mexico, I spoke with Canada, and they've agreed to our terms, which like what the fuck even are their terms? Like nothing, because they're already like trying to like crack down on it. Even though there was no crisis, they're just doing it to like try and make Trump happy. But regardless, after the meeting, he's going to declare victory. He's going to announce that he's like taking away the tariffs, and he's going to say, I forced their hand, nobody else was strong enough to stand up to them, blah, blah, blah. And the media is going to, or the right-wing media is going to spin it as like Trump stood up to them and MAGA is going to love him for it. In reality, nothing really changes. The fentanyl crisis is still the same as it was before because Canada and Mexico had nothing to do with it in the first place. And now our economy is just in turmoil and inflation's really high and businesses have been impacted by this. And a lot of manufacturing is going to leave the US and go abroad, and that is what I predict is going to happen.
So you know the tariff tax that's going to be implemented tomorrow, 25% on goods coming from Canada and Mexico, 10% on goods coming from China. Basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to make us just buy within like American-based products. That's what's happening. He promised the billionaires that have investments within US product that they're going to make a lot of money by imposing tariff taxes on products coming from other countries. We're going to look at those products, compare them to American made products and say, I'm going to buy American made because it's obviously cheaper. That's what's going to happen. That's essentially what's going to happen. And then with him deporting people, it's going to put a lot of people back into these little positions that they otherwise wouldn't work, but nobody's hiring and they'll be lucky to get any job right now. So they stand to make a lot of money off of United States citizens by just imposing these tariff taxes. Because again, you're going to go to the supermarket, you're going to buy, tomatoes, or you're going to buy avocados that are grown with the United States, even though they're genetically modified. They're cheaper than what's coming from Mexico and what's coming from China. You're going to buy, American-made cell phones. You're going to buy American-made cars, products, period, because it's going to be cheaper than what's coming in from other countries, because they're going to put these tariff taxes on there and it's going to raise the price. So that's what's happening. He just promised these billionaires they're going to make a lot of money this year, and he's doing that by forcing us into purchasing American-made products and working in positions that we otherwise wouldn't work because we're overqualified. Yeah.
What's up, folks? Mr. Cake's telling it like it is. Let's take a moment. Let's talk tariffs. This morning, the imposition of tariffs on Mexico and Canada at 25% is already having adverse effects on the American market. Mexico is already announcing that they will continue and match these tariffs at 25% as well, and possibly even double it to 50%. Canada has already stated that they might match the energy tariff at 100% tariff. Do you guys understand that we utilize 50% of their energy? No? Oh. Donald Trump, do you realize that we utilize a significant amount of their oil? No? Oh, do you realize the amount of American businesses that operate in Canada and Mexico in singularity with one another that are now about to have to pay the 25% and possibly 100% markup in Canada? Guys, the stock market has been tumbling. It closed at a significant red, is expected to open up Monday morning at an extreme red. It's likely that the adverse effect of all this, the United States could be walking its way into a recession next week. Everyone says, oh, well, that's not how recessions work. No, that's exactly how recessions work. I need you guys to go into the dictionary and look up what a tariff is. I need you guys to open up a history book and look at the 1930s. I believe it was 1931 when the United States imposed all those tariffs to try to counteract all the issues. Y'all have seen Ferris Bueller. Why are we acting like this is something new? I got people in my comments right now glorifying tariffs, but don't understand how it works one bit. It's us, the consumer, that will be paying for it, and that 25% goes into our Federal Reserve. It's not the other country paying for it, guys. It's us. We, the people, we're Americans. We're paying for it. Republicans, you're paying for it. Democrats, you're paying for it. We're all paying for it. Whether we voted for the man or not. You realize what this is going to do to the structure of our international trade agreements. We're already looking at a domestic trade war with two of our closest partners. Do you know how much trade we do with the country of Canada? The country of Canada, do you understand that they don't use Cambodian goods or Indonesian goods, and half-assed don't even use Chinese goods? They use American goods. You guys need to have that click in, and what's going to happen? Canadians cut shit off for less. And you're telling me Canadians are about to go buy American products at 25% more? Fuck no. They'd rather take the Canadian brand maple syrup that's $4 more than the American brand maple syrup. Let that sink in. Canada, I have the utmost respect for how you guys cut shit off. Y'all are like a bad date that says, you know what, I'm out. And then without ghosting or anything, y'all put the money down on the table, pay for your side of the bill, shake hands, said it was nice, and goes about your business. That's Canada in a nutshell right now. Because right now, we just took them on a horrendous date. We just wined and dined them, expected them to pay the bill, while also spitting on them. Everyone's saying, Robert, that's a little harsh. No, it's not, because Canada has footed a lot of our shit the last 4 years. Especially with the pandemic. Dude, we relied on them significantly for their oil reserves. If it wasn't for Canada, our oil reserves would have been depleted. Let that sink in. If it wasn't for Mexican nationals that came here and helped us in our nation's crisis, y'all think that it was just the CDC that came in? Do you know the amount of Mexican scientists that came to the United States to help us with our pandemic? We just sat here and imposed tariffs on two of our sister nations that is twice the amount of what we did on China. Why is China only get 10%, but our sister nation of Canada, which 50% of their market is ran off of American goods, we're going to put them on 25% tariffs? We're going to put a sleeping giant on 25% tariffs. Like, Mexico's one thing, but Canada? Dude, Canada ain't did shit to us. They're waking up this morning saying, what the actual fuck did we do? So now, to match this energy, they're about to impose severe penalties on the United States. And you know who's going to foot those bills? We, the consumers. So when you guys are over here talking about tariffs and glorifying them, I need you to open your dictionary. And I need you to look at what a tariff is. I need you to type on your phone, what is a tariff and who pays for it? And then I need you to look and see how much oil we utilize from Canada. How much agriculture and commodities we utilize from Mexico. And the sheer number of truckers that go back and forth between these two countries, these three countries. So the people that are about to get hit first and the hardest, the trucking industry, mom and pop industry, farming and agricultural commodity goods, all the way down to shit like maple syrup. This is absolutely ridiculous. So Mr. Cake's telling it like it is. I'm telling all of you guys, y'all laid this bed. Now every single one of us are about to lay in it. Recession, up and coming. Stock market crash, up and coming. Fuck it, Great Depression 2.0 at this fucking point. We are literally in a speed run to watch America collapse. Good fucking job, America. Good fucking job. Mr. Cake signing off.
As predicted, Canada is starting to impose retaliatory tariffs back on the United States. British Columbia has stopped the importing of all American-made alcohols, and Nova Scotia will double its commercial vehicle tax or fees for commercial vehicles from the United States entering into Canada starting next week. They've also told all liquor stores in Nova Scotia to clear their shelves of American-made or American-supplied alcohols. This trade war is not going to be beneficial for anybody. It's going to cause a whole lot of pain and heartache. And the Auto Trade Union or Association, whatever you will, has announced that these tariffs will cause automotive assembly lines in the United States and Canada to shut down. This is just the beginning. I don't see either side backing down. Canada's not going to be bullied by the United States this time, and Canada's not going to give in to these tariffs. So they're going to keep doing what they're doing, and you're going to see more Canadian provinces issuing more tariffs and putting freezes on importing U.S. goods. Because if those goods have nowhere to go, we do know that the White House and politicians listen to billionaires and mega millionaires who run these companies, and they're going to expect the politicians to rein Donald Trump in sooner rather than later when they start losing money.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
I'm 100% positive that Donald Trump and tariffs will not affect you or your bank account this year, and here's the reason why. Donald Trump understands supply and demand. Regardless of what any Democrat has told you, tariffs will not increase the price of things. Supply and demand determines the price. So Donald Trump, for example, is going to increase the supply of oil, for example. Okay, he's going to drill more in America. What's that going to do? It's going to increase the supply of oil, and anything that's related to oil like gasoline, the price of that's going to go down. There might be some things in America that go up in price. Take eggs, for example. I don't know why the Democrats are so obsessed with eggs right now, as if they're not responsible for egg prices. Regardless, there's going to be some things that go up in price, but you're going to make up the difference at the gas pump. Not just the gas pump. You're going to make up the difference with anything that's related to oil, anything that's related to energy, which is pretty much almost 50% of your lifestyle. So thank you, Donald Trump, for reducing 15 to 50% of my expenses and putting more money in my pocket.
We have some major breaking news right now. The Premier for British Columbia, one of Canada's provinces, has announced that the province will no longer be buying American-made alcohol from quote-unquote red states or Republican-led states. In addition, David Eby announced tonight that in response to Donald Trump's 25% tariffs, the British Columbia liquor stores will no longer be selling American-made alcohol from red states. This is just the beginning of what is expected to be a wide-scale retaliation effort from the Canadian government, specifically targeting Republican-led states. and making it more costly for American consumers and American businesses to live and operate in Republican-led states in America. Donald Trump's tariffs go into effect on February 4th. It's unclear exactly when this alcohol ban will go into effect, likely also on February 4th, assuming Trump's tariffs take effect. I'll do a full breakdown of what this all means and next steps on my Substack this evening once Justin Trudeau speaks in about 40 minutes. It's in the link tree in my bio. Be sure to subscribe for free, and I'll continue to provide you quick updates here so long as this is around. So be sure to follow along in here and on my other social platforms, all linked to my bio for more news.
I just got a really disturbing email about the tariff war from Canada and the United States and how it's going to directly impact Narcotics Anonymous. My name is Alexis. I'm a member of NA. I have 12 years clean and I'm Canadian. So my understanding is that the US is going to be imposing a 10% tariff on anything that is coming out of China. Our literature for NA is printed in China. Canada is imposing a 25% increase on any goods coming out of the United States. Our literature is distributed through the United States, which means that Canadians who are in Narcotics Anonymous are going to be facing a 35% increase on their literature within the next 60 days. That means that there's a basic text right now that's $17.25. We're going to be paying $23 for that same book. There are so many different home groups out there that give out free literature to brand new people. So there's a newcomer coming in, you give them a white fob, and then you buy them a basic text. This is going to directly impact how many basic texts that home groups can purchase and give away to the addict who's still suffering or trying to get clean. We think that this is just going to impact our groceries or this, and it's like, oh, we'll just buy we'll buy Armstrong instead of Kraft cheese. But the reality is that this impacts something that we cannot get around. Yes, you can get PDFs online for free or you can get a Kindle, but there are so many addicts that don't have access to these. Why am I doing this video? If you are in NA and you have not heard about this, take this back to your home group. Have your home group take it to area. I'm sure your literature reps know about this, but it's good for you to pass the word around. This is going to affect everything. So from IP pamphlets to literature book, my suggestion is to stock up now. And I know there might be some comments like, oh, you might not need literature, just go to a meeting. The literature is the foundation of this program, of my program. I may be able to talk to my support group or go to a meeting or find my sponsor, but a lot of that information is just opinions. And so the facts that come from NA that help me lead a clean life is like the textbook. It's like the basic text. It's the how and why, which is the 12 steps and 12 traditions. It's the 12 steps of NA guide literature, like the step working guide. It is the guiding principles, which teaches me the traditions. It is the daily meditation. I could go on. And so we literally can't do anything about it. If you have any suggestions on how we can get around this, please, if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments what we can do to keep our costs down, because this is absolutely wild. I just am putting this out there. I hope and pray that this tariff war just is over, that it just ends, because we just have way too much costs and increases, and like this is just too much. And I'm just really hoping and praying that this ends like soon. So sending love. Yeah, let me know what you think.
Okay, so now personally, I always thought tariffs were put on countries that the government was trying to incentivize people to not buy from. Like, it's supposed to be a punishment on the people. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we don't like this country, right? We don't want you to buy goods from them. We want you to buy more goods made from here. So we're going to make these goods really expensive to incentivize you to buy cheaper American-made goods, right? The only issue is we rely so heavily on our imports that that's not going to play out the way you think it is. People are not going to stop buying something because it's more expensive. They're just going to buy it and eat the tax. That's not going to make goods cheaper in America. It's supposed to make goods more expensive so we don't buy them. Like, that's how I thought tariffs were supposed to work. It's supposed to be a punishment.
I don't consider myself a Republican, nor do I consider myself a Democrat. I think both parties have sides that I agree with and that I completely disagree with. But one of the things that I'm feeling really confused and lost on right now is tariffs. And I'm going to admit that I don't know how tariffs work. Call me a dumbass, call me uneducated, call me ignorant, whatever. Don't call me these things unless you're going to sit here in my comments and truly educate me. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to do the research. I'm just really confused on how this is all going to go. You guys are more than welcome to educate me in the comments and tell me why this is going to be absolutely horrible or absolutely great for the US. I keep saying that costs are going to rise, and that's the thing that really bothers me, is that it's super easy for Donald Trump to get on a mic and say some bullshit, and also the president of Mexico to have balls and stand up to him, and the prime minister of Canada saying that he's not going to back down to a bully, which I agree with, but all the average middle class people are going to be affected. Like, they're all millionaires.
Guys, we import a lot of stuff from Canada and Mexico, and now things are about to go up. Are you guys ready or not? So overall, a lot of the prices for most things will increase, and just overall.
Canada and Mexico have both decided to do retaliation tariffs on the United States. And at first I was like, oh man. But then I saw that they said they were specifically targeting red states. And I said, you know what? Go ahead and do what you want to do. Yeah, go ahead and get those people, the people who voted for that system to be in place right now, go ahead and get them, target them immediately. Yeah. Ooh. Shivers down my spine. It's been a beautiful start to a Black History Month. When I heard that, I said, wow, that is a slay. That is a win. Yeah. Because, you know, I honestly wouldn't even be surprised if they just wanted to, you know, put tariffs on the entire United States, but to specifically target the red states, like, that is such a slay. Yeah, Mexico and Canada, yeah. That is a major slay. You know what the fuck to do. You knew exactly what the fuck to do. See, I love when you can tell the intelligence. Yeah, bitch, yeah. So I'm so sorry for the red states, and I know that there's obviously people in those red states who voted blue, and I am so sorry for you, but baby, Canada and Mexico knew what to do. Thank you, yeah.
As a food buyer, I'm going to clue you in on two other things that are going to change in the cost of food that you might not know about, other than the obvious, what the president is trying to do, which is implement these tariffs from Mexico and Canada, which will significantly increase the cost of fresh produce. The first thing I want to talk about is actually the price of chocolate. So chocolate's actually going to go up significantly. There are crop issues from West Africa and Ghana where cocoa beans are produced. And that is going to significantly increase the cost of your candy bars, your hot chocolate, anything involving a cocoa bean, that is going to increase in price. That cannot be, again, controlled by the president. This is literally a supply and demand situation. So if you are thinking he is going to reduce the price of all of your favorite things when it comes to food, he does not have control over that. Second thing is the cost of olive oil. So you might have noticed in the last year the increase of olive oil. That is because the crops that were coming out of Italy and Greece and Spain were not good. So there was not a lot of olives to work with, which then increased the cost of olive oil. However, from talking to a few suppliers, because this is an area that I cover, olive oil or oils, this price will actually come down over the next year or so. And that's because the crop that they just had was a very fruitful crop. So that should at least help alleviate some other things coming through. But if you were someone who was using avocado oil to help offset the cost of extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil is going to go up. And that is because Mexico produces a significant number of avocados. Not only does it get imported to us from Mexico to the United States, but obviously they're using avocados to make avocado oil, and that will go up as well when it becomes imported. So, you know, 6 in one, half dozen other, he giveth and he taketh away.
I had a super interesting discussion today with a friend, and she was kind of blown away by it. So I thought I would share it on here because there may be other people who still don't know about this situation. So we were talking about the economy and work and projects, and her saying, well, now that we have a new president, the economy's got to get better. And I said, I don't agree with that. And most of the economists also said that it doesn't. But the tariffs are a real issue. And she said, well, other countries have to pay one way or the other. We might as well get our money back. And I said, that's not the way tariffs work. And she didn't know how tariffs work. So I gave her this example. And this is from my real life. So I used to sell pet products, and I worked for a large pet product manufacturer. And I don't know the numbers of it, but I'll tell you this example. We made these dog crates and imported those from China. And those dog crates had tariffs on them. And let's say the tariff was 10%. I don't remember what the tariff was, but it's 10%. And at one point we came out with a smaller size crate and put a handle on it. And because that crate had a handle on it, it was classified as a handbag, and that had a higher tariff. So let's say 25%. What happened there was that our cost, the price that my company paid for that crate, the one with the handle, was 15% more than the one without the handle, just because it was in a different tariff class. Countries don't pay tariffs. The importers pay the tariff. So that's your company that's bringing in the food. So the people that you buy the products from, that might be Procter & Gamble, that might be Unilever, that might be anything. So products that you buy on a day in, day out basis, and it goes beyond just big stuff, electronics, cheap Chinese imports, even stuff that's manufactured here in the United States may have components that are made overseas. So that might be the packaging in a stand-up resealable pouch that you buy a snack in. It might be the lid on top of that bottle of shampoo that you purchase. So many things that you buy have pieces that are made and sourced elsewhere. And even if 99% of it is made here, that extra couple pennies will change the amount, especially on an item like something that you buy all the time that might be a really low cost item. There's not that much margin in it. If you increase a teeny bit in a small thing that you buy often, you're going to feel it, especially if you're not a high roller and you're not making millions of dollars. So that's how tariffs work. And it's a simplistic explanation, but countries aren't paying them. We're paying them. And we are going to see higher prices because guess what? Every time a tariff was levied on a country, my company took price increases. I know because I was a salesperson who had to justify the price increase to the major retailer that I sold to. So that's how it works. Please comment on this, share this. We want people to know because when we all have to pay a lot more at the grocery store and at the mass merchant, at your whatever store you're shopping at, it's not just because of supply and demand. It's because of tariffs.
Okay, today is February 1st, Saturday. The U.S. has put tariffs on Canada and Mexico at 25%. We then are now hearing in real time Canada's response to that, since Canada had said that they would do some type of retaliatory plan if that happened. So now we're hearing from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who's basically saying that Canada is going to hit back with a 25% tariff as well. After he announces that, he goes on to really kind of draw out the history between Canada and the U.S. a bit, just in the partnership and the allyship and the ways that they have coordinated support over the years anytime we've gone through devastating events, and how he doesn't really want it to be this way, doesn't think it has to be this way, and it doesn't understand why Trump is violating free trade agreements that, you know, all presidents or leadership of Canada, the U.S., and Mexico agreed to a few years ago. He then goes on to speak directly to the American public and just kind of lets us know that, you know, he understands that this is going to be harmful to marginalized and vulnerable communities, and, you know, he doesn't want it to be this way again. He is standing ready to find all other alternatives and standing ready to work with the U.S. and, you know, align with the free trade agreements. And, you know, he's ready to, you know, stop this at any moment that Trump is ready to stop this. He then goes on to, encourage the, people of Canada that basically they're going to have to really stand strong and stand together, and they're going to have to help each other out and check on each other and, help each other with mutual aid and community support and all kind of things, just to make sure that everybody is getting through this difficult time. In the 25% tariffs that Canada plans to, place on us back, it's going to be 25% starting on Tuesday, the 4th, and it's going to be like partially on some of American goods and then entirely on all of the American goods 3 weeks from now, just to give Canadian businesses time to find alternative solutions. At this point, he's just kind of answering questions, so I don't think that they're going to do anything more than this, but this is certainly a lot, and it's going to be impactful. It's going to hurt both of our economies. Economists have already predicted that this could cause a recession of some sort. I'm just hoping, for the best, and I'm hoping that Trump realizes this is no good for any of us, and we can just align to the free trade agreements.
Look, I am not a political person, and I don't care who you voted for. Okay? No matter who gets in office, they're going to do some things that are going to screw things up for some people. I've never seen a president do great things straight through that benefits everybody. It just never works. Okay. Now, all that being said, I'm not sure everybody understands how tariffs work, but I work in the manufacturing industry. What I can tell you is that just because you're getting products that are made in America, the ingredients and parts that you need to make those products are not all domestic. Okay, these lotions on your face and these serums and these shampoos and everything that you use, these beauty products, there's ingredients that come from overseas. There might be a certain, extract or some sort of anti-aging specialty ingredient that might come from France or Germany. The bottle it's in or the aerosol can or whatever could be coming from China. And even some of the domestic companies, they have their components made in Canada and they're imported from Canada. So understand that your $7 bottle of shampoo could go up to $7.50. Companies are already worried about the tariffs that are going to be imposed on their componentry that's coming from other countries. So they're looking to source domestically. Sourcing domestically means a higher per piece price. So if that bottle for your shampoo normally costs 35 cents out of a Chinese factory, even with the cost to ship it over on a boat and do all the transportation, even with that added on, it's still usually cheaper than getting a domestically made bottle that only has to be shipped a few states over or across country without having to be on a plane or a boat. So understand that the concept of these tariffs, it seems like a good idea, but what it's doing is it's going to raise the prices of nearly everything that we use. So don't think because you look at a product and the back says, made in America, made in New York, made in Virginia, made in California, all the things it took to go into making that thing that you bought, they don't all come from America. That's all I have to say.
Y'all, we gotta talk about Canada. The fact that, they are ready with these tariffs, which is hilarious considering I feel like the United States government could never move as quickly. But the fact that they have a detailed strategy on how to retaliate and react to the Trump tariff plan, we have to keep in mind, so much of our building materials, power, energy, so much comes from Canada. We import something like $430 billion worth of products from Canada alone. And it's energy, manufacturing, a lot of vehicles, car parts and stuff like that, meat, agriculture, all of that comes from them. The absolute cherry on the fucking top of this cake is the fact that Canada specifically is going to target red states. Yes. Thank you, Canada, because they deserve it. You vote for a jerk, you fuck around and you find out. Obsessed with this idea that they've figured out this very intense, detailed strategy to specifically target people that they know put him there. So now, all you lucky folks in a blue state that voted for him, y'all better thank yourselves for being in a Democratic state. But red states, ooh, things are about to get so tough for you. So tough.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.